What's up, guys? Just from Hell's Headbangers here again, aka J-dawg, and I got a total fucking banger for you today. Just was thinking about it just the other day, and I'm like, fuck, thinking about how I did like the Putrefaction, most underrated death metal demo of all time, and just thinking of underrated stuff. So, obviously I did the underrated what do they call it? Oh, I didn't call Marduk underrated. I just said it was my fucking favorite black metal. Whatever the fuck else I did. I had a bunch of shit floating around through my head, but it's popped in my mind like fucking most underrated metal of all time. I don't know if it's the most underrated of all time, but it's fucking definitely up there. We'll call this video fucking must have fucking metal that you almost definitely have not fucking ever heard. And that is, like I said, if a 15-year-old's watching this, you definitely fucking have to heard this. But you gotta go get it, but it's gonna be very, very hard to get. And that is by a band called Wreckage. And I have an LP of this, and that's actually all I have of the material, other than a CDR of the shit. And I'll get to that in a second of why I have that. There's an LP. Look at this fucking. That's the front. Very, very simple. There's no gatefold, no insert. That's the back. And there was very few of these press. This is actually a bootleg, which again, we love fucking bootlegs over here. So anyone that hates bootlegs, tough fucking shit. But I would say, dude, this fucking is, they're like a death thrash band from the 80s. All they ever released was 5 demos ever. This LP is just the first 4 demos. So it's kind of funny because like the first, those are the only ones I liked. I've heard the 5th demo and it fucking sucked. It actually reminded me kind of like Sacred Reich independent album. You know how like fucking Sacred Reich, the first Ignorance and Surf Nicaragua are fucking great. I even like American Way a lot. American Way a lot. Definitely not as good as Ignorance and Surf Nicaragua, but still very good. And then Independent comes out and it just fucking blows. It reminded me like of that, the fifth Wreckage demo. But so this fucking sucks. So it's kind of funny that it got omitted from this LP, and I think it's because it couldn't fit. Because this is a double vinyl, and the first demo, Experiment in Terror, is from 1986. It's on the side A of this record. Side B is From the Ashes, 1987 demo. That's the whole side B. Side C is the World of Despair, 1988 demo. And then side D is the Dilemma, 1989 demo. So each side is dedicated to each demo. So it's really fucking cool. They fit on there perfectly. And definitely, these are absolutely some of my favorite demos of all fucking time. Like I said, just like Death Thrash. I don't even know who else I would compare them to, other than the first band that kind of comes to my mind that I most compare them to is another underrated as fuck band. I'll show you a little bit of shit by them. Is Devastation from Chicago. Obviously, there's more than one Devastation. Devastation from Texas. That's the most notable one. But Devastation from Chicago, absolutely my favorite one. We'll talk about them more in a second. Let's talk about records. But that's about the only band I could kind of like compare them the most to. But these just came on regular black vinyls. Side A, like I said. Side B, you know, and there was only 150 copies pressed. And these came in through Hell's about, yeah, probably about 10 years ago now. Yeah, about 10 years ago now. So quite a while. Side C, side B. Like I said, only 150 pressed. So good motherfucking luck finding this. But a huge fan. Absolutely must. You never hear anyone ever talking about them. I don't even know what the motherfuckers in the band look like, what they have gone out to do. Because like I said, this is the only physical format I own of this material, and that's all they have. They never did an album, never did a 7-inch. Story I heard is that I'm pretty sure they're from Virginia or around the Virginia area, the DC area. I heard that King Folly, shout out to King Folly. Hey, how you doing, man? Uh, I heard that he knows one of the guys, or he knew one of the guys back in the 80s, and that deceased played with Wreckage in like 88, 87, whatever, 89ish area, and then he just knew one of the guys was. I never actually, maybe I asked him, and he said, I want to say I did ask him a few years ago, and he said, yeah, that was years ago, man. I don't know what he's doing. Or I forget. I've never got the chance to ask him. But either way, I got to re-bring it back up because if anybody happens to know guys from Wreckage, put the in the comments or steer them towards my way because I would love for Hells to release that shit officially, like do like a CD LP proper release. Because like I said, all that exists of this is this bootleg, and So, and yeah, like I said, I don't even know if you're going to find it on eBay or Discog. If you watch long enough, probably. And whatever price you can get it for, I highly recommend. Dude, these are like some of my favorite demos of all time, and like it's just obscure as fuck though. I can't even believe that like that the demo tray tapes didn't like circulate and become more popular. Like like kind of almost like Necrovore status. You know how Necrovore was just like it was just a demo tape and it was really obscure, but it got traded so much that it had legendary status, or like kind of like Incubus God died on his knees, that type of shit. Then there's just demos, and I like I said, there's some of my favorites. Absolutely fucking love them. And but yeah, so I would love for that shit to come out officially. That way it'd be cool layout. We could just be band photos in there, maybe some flyers, artwork they ever had. But I don't know what any of the guys. I don't know who any of the guys are. Like I don't know if they're dead, in jail, out of metal, into metal. I'd imagine one out of I think there's like 4 or 5 guys. I think there was just 4 guys in the band. I'm sure you look it up on Metal Archives and it probably says on there. But it was all a bunch of dudes that I don't know who the fuck they are. So if anyone knows, send them my way because I'd be very interested in working something out with them to get an official release on Hells and that shit, and then you guys will be able to hear it too. But if you can, I don't even know if the demos are on YouTube. Maybe somebody posts them. But yes, just search the band Wreckage and for the stuff. And yeah, absolute must. Gotta fucking have it. Can't die without hearing it in my book. But how I heard of them too was actually Dawn of the Dead from Nunslaughter told me about them. He just burned me a CDR of their I think it was just the first 2 demos, and he just gave it to me, and I fucking loved it. I was like, this is fucking great. And then the third and fourth demo, I forget how the fuck I even heard them. Maybe I eventually got it from him, or it was on somebody's trade list, and it was just a CDR burn as well. And then when this LP came out, it says it's on Scrotum Juice Records from Singapore, and yeah, only 150 of them made. So, and like I said, well over 10 years ago, so long, long fucking gone. But it was really cool to see that fucking come out. I was like, holy fuck, because somebody else loves this shit like I do. So yeah, that's how about fucking Wreckage. Like I said, got to go get mandatory fucking metal in my book. And like I said, the only band I can kind of compare them to, like kind of being like the death thrash from the '80s, best thing would be another mandatory fucking metal, also obscure as fuck too, but not as obscure as the fucking Devastation, especially since it's kind of got released officially from last few. Is Devastation Chicago? I brought all my stuff from Devastation Chicago right here. This is the LP that got released officially on who's this fucking label that did it? What, I know it's a label I know. Oh, Buried by Time and Dust, yeah. And he did a really good job because prior to this, I'll show you what else I have. It's never been on vinyl prior. This is again, this video is probably going to be about Wreckage because of shit you never heard. Most people watching this probably haven't heard this band Devastation. Like I said, one from Chicago. But if you have it, this is 100% mandatory. As a matter of fact, this is like when I'm talking about like best death metal demo of all time or best demo of all time. This is literally hanging out with Putrefaction on me. Like this, I like this just as much, if not more. It's kind of like a death thrash. And anytime favorite demos come to mind, this absolutely comes to my mind. All this band did was like 2 demos and an unreleased album that is released now. I forget the whole story about what all they've done, but here, let me show you the release though. So this is the official release of it, because prior to this, it was just on a bootleg CD. Inside just some flyers and shit. And see, this is what I kind of like to do with Wreckage. You know what I mean? Like you see this, like there's a bunch of photos and shit I'm sure no one's seen prior to this. Just a collage. And then it's got all the lyrics. So, I mean, I don't know what the fucking Wreckage lyrics are like. Obviously, I don't have them. So, a release like that officially for Wreckage is kind of what I want to do. Very similar to this. And then the vinyls. It's a double LP. It comes with a bonus 7-inch. And 7-inch is really snug. Fuck that. Record's really snug in there. I'm not going to get it out. It's just a black fucking vinyl. There's actually, I don't know how I didn't get it. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't know. There's actually a red vinyl on this. And Hells has gotten these in stock a few times. I'm pretty sure we're sold out now. This has been out for a few years, but it's kind of like not exactly the fastest moving thing. We got it. We got them. They sold out. We restocked them like a good handful of times, like 3, 4, maybe 5 times. But we only get like 5 or 6 at a time because most people, like I said, they don't even know who this fucking band is. And like to me, if you're in the metal and you collect records, like this is like absolutely fucking mandatory. You know how like for example, like a lot of guys will consider like early Megadeth, early Anthrax, shit like that, like mandatory. And I do like the early very early albums by like Megadeth and Anthrax. But to me, like this shit fucking blows that crap away. So it's like, and that's considered, like the big fucking four, big three, or whatever the hell you want to say. And it's gotta have this. To me, this Devastation shit is fucking smokes that shit. Sends it home on a fucking stretcher. And like I said, I like that stuff too. But I hear there's a red vinyl for this. And if it comes through, or if somebody has one, I'm going to pick it up because I just got the black. I probably got the black just because when we got them in, that's all I knew existed. And then, seeing this shit every day, like, I probably, there's red vinyl. I figured I already had it. Now, when I was looking through my collection, I don't have the red vinyl, which I do want because, as we talked in other videos, I prefer color vinyl. I like collect them, and since it's some of my favorite music, I wouldn't mind having both. But I at least got the release. But yeah, so this is the nicest version of their material that you'd get, and an only vinyl version that I know of that exists. But prior to that, there's also formats that it was on with CDs that I own. I own 3 different versions. So that LP we just showed, he did do a CD of it as well. So in case you're not a vinyl head, well, no, he didn't. Vic Records did. Vic Records actually tends to do a lot of shit that I tend to like. And he did a very fucking awesome job. So if you don't want the LP or you got the LP, you don't give a shit about LPs or whatever, you just prefer CD, or you can't afford the LP or whatever the fuck, the CD will definitely do the job too. It's got a fuckload of goddamn. Actually, this CD actually might even be a little bit better, to be honest. You look at all these fucking photos. This has got a shitload of pages. I mean, again, of pretty, like, really obscure shit. Again, not fucking not wreckage obscure, but pretty not far behind either though. There's the disc. Yeah, so it's how he has put that. Yeah, so there's the 2 demos, the Dispensable Bloodshed unreleased album, which is 87. So a creation of Ripping Death was their 86 demo. A recreation of Ripping Death was another 86 demo. Then 87 they did Dispensable Bloodshed, which I guess I was going to be their full length, but it actually never came out. So that's everything. And then there's live tracks in this too, which in another disc I'll show you. There's a full live shows. It's just 2 bonus live tracks. And the reason he included them, I know why he did, is because he's trying to include their whole discography. And one of the live shows they did, well, I guess 2 of the live shows, one's 86, one 87. So one song's called Realm of the Mastodon, and the other one's is not even titled, but they're not on anything else. They're unreleased songs. So that's why I include, well, why just 2 random live songs? Because they're not on any of the fucking demos of the full length. As opposed, I'll show you this one has in full. This was a Chinese label. Was this area? Marquee Records did this. This was the first official version of these demos I got. I don't really not a big fan of the artwork, to be honest with you. It looks a little too cartoony for my taste on the for those demos. I preferred this this was the demo guy from the demo. I would have just kept that like how fucking Vic did it personally, but whatever. That's what we got. And this is a big fucking like box, and there's 3 discs in here, and it's got all the demos unreleased. So this is a really cool release because it's got more shit. It's got 2 or 3 live shows, 2 live shows, Live 86 and Live 87, and maybe it's 4 live shows. It just says various locations. It's looking like actually CD number 2 is 2 live shows from 86, and then CD number 3 is 2 live shows from 87. And like I said, it's got the Realm of the Mastodon on there, and the they call it the unnamed song because it's just untitled. So yeah, so this is basically this release. The marquee one is literally everything that's in existence recorded that got captured. So, but this came out quite a while ago now. These did come through Hells as well. This the booklet. So also a pretty good job he did. And I would say pretty good job. He did a good job. I just thought the cover art was for that slipcase was a little cartoony. But if you get this, you don't need to own every goddamn version like I do. I'm just a huge fan of it, so I do. You would have everything for listening purposes that they've ever done. And like I said, I think this is some of the most underrated metal ever, and just obscure. Like a lot of people just don't even know about it. The very first thing that ever came out, that with the exception of the demo tapes back in the 80s, was actually a bootleg. This was my introduction to the band when I first heard them, and is I'll show you. It's called Total Fucking Ripping Death. Got these a long time ago on Hells. I mean, this came in probably probably pushing 15 years ago now. And this was my introduction to the band. It's a really nice looking boot, and it sounds really good too. This would be hard to find now if you wanted this version as well, which I'm definitely glad to own. It's pretty sweet layout. It looks underground as fuck. You know, definitely justice was done to it. But as you can see, the first thing on there is the Untitled LP. Untitled LP, and then Creation of Ripping Death demo and Recreation of Ripping Death demo. So it was the two demos and the unreleased album that they did. The only thing I was missing is the unreleased live songs. That was it. But as far as studio the recordings that they meant to put out, if you had this disc from the bootleg when it came out, you had everything that they did. And for years, this is all I had because this all existed. Came in and I loved it. I was a huge fan. And nobody, it seemed like you bring up to anybody, they never know, except the real old heads. As a matter of fact, in the Marquees, I think it's in the Marquee pressing or the Vic Records, one of them, there's like kind of like liner notes from like I don't know about famous people, but kind of famous, well-known names in the underground. And one of them was with Fenris from Dark Throne. He even says that's one of his favorite demos of all time or something. Thought that was pretty cool. So that's what I was getting at is earlier is just like saying like nobody seemed to hurt them unless the true old heads that were like active tape traders in the 80s. Those were like the only guys that knew about it. So, you know, I was born in the 80s. So like guys that were already like teenagers or early 20s that not only were around live at that time, but also fucking, you know, tape trading and very active and enthusiastic about underground fucking metal going on. Because you're alive at the time doesn't mean you happen to give a fuck about this shit. Those are the only people that definitely prior to this, and even during when this was out, that knew about it. Like you brought it up to everybody else, it's just fucking deer in headlights. I had no idea what the fuck you're talking about. But since the two official record releases are Marquee Records and the Vic Records, and it's the LP I showed you, Buried by Time and Dust. It's not as obscure because you know it's been on official 3 times now by 3 different labels. So people have picked it up, and I've met people like, yeah, that was fucking great, and that was how they heard it. So that's how. So you guys have options. Hell's might have the CD, like I showed you, the Vic Records one in stock, or the LP. Like I said, I've had it several times. I don't remember if we still have copies left. If not, maybe we'll get some more if the labels still have some. If not, just fucking searching on eBay, Discogs, or maybe another distro out there has them. But I highly, highly fucking recommend it. Definitely, yeah, sends home like a lot of what people consider like the top bands you got to fucking have as manager. I think a lot of that it just blows the fuck out of the water, in my personal opinion. So yeah, guys, that's a fucking video for you there. Just letting you know about metal you probably have not fucking heard. At least the vast majority of you probably haven't. Maybe a couple of you have. If you have, let me know in the fucking comments. Like, fuck yeah, I know this shit is fucking great. I've been thinking the same thing. Underrated as fuck. No one knows about it. Glad to hear somebody else talking about it. Put that in the goddamn comments and, you know, put whatever the hell else in the fucking comments. Keep spreading the news, telling your fucking all your friends about these fucking videos and your nannies and fucking Grammys and mommies and daddies if you think if they'd be interested in this material. Anyone thinks interested, fucking tell them to watch my goddamn shit. Tell them to leave a fucking comment. Tell them to leave a thumbs up, thumbs fucking down, whatever. Say something, talk shit, whatever. And y'all see you guys in the next one. Later.